The 3 biggest mistakes when transcribing. Number 1, playing along with the music. Listen before you play along. This seems obvious, but I've seen many people do it, including myself, playing along with the track, but just covering up the whole stuff. Really don't do it. I know it seems fulfilling when you might hit it by accident, spot on, but in 99% of the cases it won't. Just break it down in bars or in 2 beats or even in 2 notes or just 1 single note. I do that sometimes, it's all okay, but just press play, listen, stop and try to copy the note. That's the best way to do it. Believe me, I've tried many different things. You will avoid the pitfall of playing a note along with the recording, which sounds good, but it just might be a nice sounding chord note and not the actual tone you are trying to figure out. So be careful with that. 2 keywords here: listen and patience. Number 2, getting stuck on finger spasms. I recently got a lot of questions about what I do when there's some kind of fast rip up to a high note. Or a rip down to a low note. Do I transcribe every note? If the audio quality allows it, yes. I will slow it down to 50%. If I can't hear it, then I will slow it down to even 25%. But beware, the audio quality will diminish. But there is a big but. Most of the times it's more of an effect. Nobody will hear if you missed 1 or 2 or even more notes. It's more about the effect. For me, there are 2 kinds of finger spasms. The first one, it's just an effect. It's just to introduce either a high note or a low note. What I mostly try to do is identify the starting note. And if it's a long run, I will identify the note that's being played on every downbeat. And then I will write this wobbly line in between to connect them. It's probably either diatonic or chromatic being played. The second one is a structured finger spasm. Sometimes it's fast, but you can hear a kind of pattern or a scale. Coltrane was the first to introduce this and they called it sheets of sound. I would first try to figure out the overall sound of that scale or pattern, write down the note I hear on every downbeat and fill the rest with an educated guess. That being said, I honestly don't waste too much time on these kind of things. It's either a trick or a sheet of sound, but it's not that important to get it note for note. The intention is what matters. And the third one and the final one, don't transcribe at 50% of the speed. It's like zooming in too much and you lose the real intention of that line. It's mostly when there is a fast piece and you have to put it at 50%, you will hear all kind of small details and variations. And then I would notate it in 50%, listen to it back in 100% speed, and then it would just sound like all 8 notes to me and it would just make no sense. So be careful with that. Always listen back at 100% before you commit to a certain rhythm. What are the problems that you guys have when transcribing? Are there similar problems like I just described, or do you have different kind of problems? Please let me know in the comments below. And see you soon. Die mag er weg. And then you would hear... Sorry. Please let me know in the description below. Nee, spasms. Jawohl, spasms. Fucking culo.